This is the 33rd Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2221, which we are trying to send back in time as far as possible. My name is Dirk.
My name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. So, if you hear me being a little bit out of breath, I'm sorry. I literally arrived like a minute ago. Sorry about that, Simon.
Mm-hmm. It was so it's fine. But what happened? What made you so late?
My teleporter wasn't working properly. Yeah, I know we were supposed to record like half an hour ago, but every time I tried to teleport here, it was telling me capacity reached. Mm-hmm. And I know that, this happens when the location you're teleporting to is basically full. You have this with events, enclosed spaces, and so on. I get this a lot when I go to Skyline Park in Frankfurt, because at the top of the skyline there's just limited space. You don't want people going there. Sure.
But I'm the only one here, so it's strange that it was saying that
exactly
capacity was reached.
Yes, and it kept that. So I actually teleported to Theo and back. That worked fine. But every time I tried to teleport here, it just told me capacity reached.
It's really weird. And then at some point it just worked? Like it didn't say that message anymore?
Yeah, just, I wasn't expecting it anymore. Just getting in, getting out, and then poof, suddenly I was here. Yeah. So that's why I was also a little bit surprised myself.
Yeah, startled.
But you didn't have any...
No, like I say, I was the only one here. And, you could imagine that happening if the sensor on my teleporter, was acting up. Mm-hmm. Or if there was like a little mouse crouched on top of it or something.
Okay.
Don't have mice, and... I'm looking at it now. It looks fine.
But you don't use it a lot.
I don't use it a lot. And so I was going to say I've not had this issue that I can remember. But I don't use it so often myself. But that would be an issue for me coming home, yeah?
True.
I go somewhere else. I come back and it says, hey, you can't go home because there's someone in your house. Now that's concerning.
Or maybe you just have the capacity set to 1.
I will go check. 1 sec. Whoa, it was set to 1.5 this whole time.
1.5?
That don't even make sense.
So that's why I sometimes
when I was too close, when I'm far, like I'm over there in the kitchen, I'm far enough away from it. It's like, yeah, there's half a person here. It's cool. Dirk can come over. I'm too close to it. It's like, whoa, there's a whole one person here. Then it wouldn't let you through. So and that also means that if you leave, then you can always come back. Exactly. Yeah. Then I've never had an issue. I just increased it to 2.
Okay, smart. But it's actually a pretty smart security system. So, although I guess it's maybe smart to hack into, but it's pretty smart actually.
Right, you don't want people coming in. Wait a minute, but then people can always get in when you're not there. Which
you have to authorize, right?
Of course. Yeah, right. Like I approved you so that you could come here, like in the past.
But it's interesting. Actually.
I didn't set it up that way on purpose though. So either it's just like a default setting, or I did set it up so long ago I don't remember, or the person who installed it, maybe they set it up that way.
Yes, I have mine customized to the max. I also I don't authorize. For me, anybody can just show up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In your house?
Yeah, in the beginning...
Is your teleporter like in a cage? I've never been to your house, let's say that. Is your teleporter in a cage? So anyone can teleport in, but you have to let them out the cage.
No, it's in the living room.
Well, okay.
Yeah, it's not in the bedroom. I used to have it in the bedroom.
Sure.
But
it's useful for when you really need to go to the toilet. Really, like you're somewhere, you're at a restaurant. You really need the toilet, but you don't want to go to the restaurant's toilet. You can go straight to your own.
Yeah, I've done that actually. Yeah. But that was because the toilet was taken.
Okay, yeah.
But I used to have it switched to authorize, and then non-authorize whenever I had a party. Yeah. And then back to authorize, and then back to non-authorize when I had a party again. And at one point, I just kept it to non-authorize. Never had an issue. Yep. But anyway, so sorry I'm late. For the people that are listening and have no clue what we're talking about, we are in the year 2221, as I mentioned in the intro. We're recording a podcast for, as we figured out, exactly 200 years ago. Mm-hmm. We've spent about 30 episodes figuring out the technology to reach the year 2021, it must be then.
Yeah, 2021, I guess they'd say.
And now we're basically recording a podcast every week using the exact same technology.
Yep. I stuck some tape over the dial in adjusting that.
Okay.
Unless it turns out we need to, but for right now, it's stuck.
Smart. Mm-hmm. And we know that it's working because every episode we use a different technology. Every episode we ask people to email us
Because in the previous ones, you mean? But now we've got another reply. We'll talk about that in a bit, so we know this method's working.
Yeah, I'm really happy that because last time we didn't have any replies and we weren't sure if it was working. So we use his email address, and you can email us there. Maybe we mention it again.
Good idea. Michael Lasagna 5, Mika Lasagna 5. So Michael Lasagna 5 at gmail.com.
And the nice thing is, we don't really use email here.
No,
but
no spam issues.
We can still access the original email. So if you email in your time, we'll just read it as something from the long ago past. You mentioned we had another email.
Sorry, no, it's when we started making all the different attempts to go back to send messages back in time, we had this email address and I read it wrong. And the way I have it remembered in my head is Mika Lasagna 5 at gmail.com. It always ends in at gmail.com. But then later I learned that you're meant to say it Michael Lasagna 5.
But didn't we receive another email?
That makes more sense. Yes, we did, from Gustav.
Gustav again.
We haven't... so, that's good news. We were worried last time that maybe something had happened to him. Nope, he's all good. He didn't say why he didn't reply, but okay, whatever. He at least replied. Actually, Gustav, or anyone else who's listening to this, so we have a reply for 30. Wait, which numbers do we have replies for?
21 was the first one that came through.
29.
Exactly, and then 30 we had the wrong technology because we didn't know yet about 29. And then from 31 onwards...
So we got a... I'm lost. We didn't get a reply last time is the point.
Yep.
So if anyone heard the last one, please let us know. This one right now is 33, so also obviously let us know about that. Let us know which ones you heard.
Exactly, just whichever episode you heard, let us know.
Yep. Anyways, Gustav, he sent us a message, pretty brief. And okay, so last time he just asked us if we were for real. We said, yeah, we're for real. And his most recent question, it is in the subject. He said which episode he heard. His question is, do you guys have kangaroos?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all he needed to know.
That's all he wants to know. He doesn't want to know anything about, which companies to invest in, like from his time, which stocks, all that kind of stuff. No, just wants to know.
And he didn't
which I respect, which I appreciate. He just wants to know, do we have kangaroos?
And he didn't mention why he didn't answer last time.
He didn't mention that. Maybe in the future, maybe he'll get more verbose as time goes by, but at least right now...
We will still appreciate it.
Of course, definitely. Like we say, originally all we need is the letting us know you've heard the episode and which number.
And I'm happy we don't have to adjust the dial every time.
Exactly.
So, do we still have kangaroos?
Yes and no. We have kangaroos. So... There used to be kangaroos and there used to be giraffes, and at some point they bred together to form kangaroos, and they were so much cooler that all the kangaroos died out, all the giraffes died out. We have kangaroos, so they're extra cool because when they're tired, they can just put their head into their little pouch and sleep. Looks really funny when they're bouncing around. Their heads are going wee woo wee wee because the neck's way too long. So yes and no. We don't have kangaroos, I guess, but we have kangaroos. Yeah,
it's. I think it was a hype for a while. I think there was the big tourism years of the early 22nd century, something like that, where basically people were just going everywhere all the time, and then
I think before teleporters, yeah. So, yeah, but.
And it was basically just like they did anything to get tourists, and then when they started this, sometimes. Yeah.
So wait, the kangaroos and the giraffes, they didn't just make sweet love naturally? Like they were hooked up by...
They did, but they were basically put together.
Right, because giraffes originally, they didn't live in the same place as the kangaroos.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know. Yeah. But I mean...
I think kangaroos were from Africa and giraffes were from Australia.
Okay.
So sure, they wouldn't have met normally. Like there's not a way for them to see each other, but people brought them together.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's what I heard, that it was because of the tourism years.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, hopefully that answers Gustav's question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
it does answer the question. Do we have kangaroos? No, but we have kangaroos, and they're way better.
And you feel free to ask us further questions about our time. It can also be about our technology, but we're happy to talk about animals. Nice bridge basically into today's topic. I thought maybe we could speak about personal assistants.
Sure. I don't use one. Don't like them. Don't believe in them. I mean, they exist, yeah, like I acknowledge they exist. And actually, no, that's not quite true. I do use one when I need to, yeah. But I don't like the thing where you're just like talking into the air and hearing a voice in your head. That freaks me out. And especially because who knows where that voice is going or coming from. So when I need to use one, I like to type it in on my keyboard, see the results in my lens. You know, that's way more legit.
Yeah.
But I understand that my experience with that is a niche way. You use it much more the regular way. So please detail.
Yeah. I'm a really big fan. So the PA, a personal assistant, maybe for the people back in the past, it's basically a virtual person. You don't see this person. The person doesn't exist as a person, but it's basically like an intelligence with a voice.
It's someone, exactly, it's a consciousness, yeah?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that's the word I was looking for. And it's basically, it's in the cloud, in the net. And whenever you speak, any technology that's near you, that's connected to it, will basically pick up your voice, identify your PA in the cloud, and it can answer to you. So that's the real nice thing. You're in your house, so you can say, please, is there still lettuce in the fridge, or what's the weather going to be in 3 years, or whatever. Mm-hmm. The voice will answer and tell you this. You can tell it, do this, or basically anything. But if you're out, you're basically walking through a mall in Beijing, you can speak to your PA and it will answer you through the nearest technology possible.
I mean, you always hear, the way you use it, you always hear the voice. Is it in your head or in your ear? Like it's not audible to anyone else, right?
No, it is, depends on the technology.
Right, I see.
So, I mean, it's basically, if it's connected to my lens, I basically get it straight, but depends on where I am, if I have my lens switch on or off, and so on.
Right. If you're on one of those retreats where you don't even have your lenses, I guess does it come out of like the closest radio or speaker?
They don't do PAs at the retreat. But I mean, you can go to the lobby and speak to your PA there.
But over in one of the phone booths.
Yeah. For example,
I mean, they're old school. So.
But it's but also depends on the technology where your voice is where the voice is coming from. So I gave the example in the mall in Beijing, mm-hmm. where they have a different technology to connect to your lenses, which means that if I walk there with my lenses, speak to my PA, they can identify my PA, the voice can come back, but it doesn't connect to my lens, so I just hear it outside. People can hear it. Yeah. And I have it mostly in my apartment. I also have it coming basically
just out of in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's part of why that's why I use it the way I do, mm-hmm. Where I just read it with my lens, or using my lens. I don't like that other people could hear it.
Okay.
It's like, what if it's telling me something super private? Like, I ask it, have I got any toilet paper left? It says no. I don't want people to know I don't have any toilet paper left.
That's true.
They'll think poorly of me, So that's why I use just my lens, because then I'm the only one who can see it. And sure, I never use it outside my home,
Okay.
Because like obviously the way you're describing, you're somewhere strange, it will come out somewhere strange. But for me, I only use it in my home. I only see it on my lens.
For me, it's interesting because I have the proactivity activated, which means that if I walk somewhere, did you hear that?
I heard it, but what was it?
I think it was your teleporter.
I mean, that's a bad sound from a teleporter.
You see, I think there is something wrong with it.
Yeah, that's like Yeah, let me go have a look.
I mean, I have to take it back to my home. I don't want to walk for 10 minutes.
Right, no, that's a long walk. I mean, there's no strange smell coming from it. Okay. It looks fine. I looked on the log, like maybe someone tried to teleport in and it popped. That was them, like, in no good shape. But
that was the 1.5. Yeah. Okay. Well, that
says it's fine.
It's probably fine then to use it when I go back. Mm-hmm. But my PA, I have the proactivity switched on, which means that it approaches me proactively when
not just responding to you, but like approaching you.
So it does happen that I am somewhere and then I'm chatting to somebody and then it interrupts.
like whispers in your ear, like so just interrupts your train of thought, or like straight up in the conversation. Hey guys,
it depends. Yeah, so I can never really figure it out.
Sure.
But sometimes it is like, hey Dirk, don't remember you have an appointment in 10 minutes or something like that, which is nice, you know. But basically I have it really super customized, and actually also change it. It's the name. My PA is called Mr. Dobalina. That I've kept for many years. I kind of got used to it. But, you know, sometimes change the voice, change the personality. I've had it set on cheeky for quite a while, which is really funny for quite a while.
That's why you've kept it.
But at one point, you know, it's like, you know, hey, do we still have any lessons in the fridge? And then, don't know. Or who cares?
Okay, at that point, it's not so useful.
Yeah, or go look yourself, or so. Which is definitely. I
mean,
funny.
You're at home, it's fine, but you're in Beijing. You want to know how if you have lettuce in the fridge. Okay, you'd like it to just tell you.
But I changed it to like super polite, and it's actually let's try. Mr. Dobalina, do I still have lettuce in the fridge? Hi.
I didn't hear anything. Did he tell you?
No.
Oh,
I didn't hear anything either.
Hey, that's because I've got my nice privacy filters up. So because I'm that way, I don't want such things in my house. I didn't really think of it from your perspective, but from my perspective, I like that. You know that outside entities can't listen in on what I'm saying without I make a phone call. Outside entities can listen in on what I'm saying, but if I'm just walking around my house, farting, burping, whatever, ain't no one going to hear that. Except my neighbors. My neighbors will hear that, but you know.
And
not,
of course,
not other people.
And if I speak to my PA, it's going to connect to my space in the cloud. And okay,
I
got
hear
it.
what I say in the background too.
But it's a shame because he's set to super polite now. So it really
is it annoyingly like is it over the top or is it?
It's definitely over the top. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's like the nice thing is you can tweak so many things and then. Also have things switched on and off and have things more or less.
To make these adjustments, to make these tweaks, how? Do you just speak to it? Like, do you say, hey, be more polite, hey, be less polite? Or is it like a screen where you slide the sliders around?
Yeah, both works. Because you can speak to it, but for example, when I had it set to cheeky and I wanted it to change, it refused.
Wouldn't,
yeah. So then I had to do it straight into the system, but that works. Yeah. But it's it does feel weird sometimes. So I save settings because sometimes I have basically got used to a certain way for a while. Then I changed settings, and then after a while you go miss the original Mr. Dobalina.
The way it was for so long.
Exactly. So like, for example, it's super polite now, but it just doesn't fit.
Right.
You know, so maybe I just...
Different settings for different times of day or different times of week? Like different on the weekend versus Monday to Friday?
Yep.
I'm asking. So because I always just do it text, you know, typing in text, getting text responses. Obviously there's room for a personality there, but I've always just had it on the default, so I've never adjusted it. So for yourself?
As I don't actually change it over the weekends, but also in the beginning I was changing it like every day.
Sure.
But at one point it started to feel rude.
To change its personality.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of felt wrong. So, it's, like I said, I had it for cheeky for quite a while, and I only changed because it just became kind of impractical.
Sure, yeah. Like you weren't getting the information you actually needed.
And it was just, you know...
So, right now you've got it on super polite, but you want you just want it like cheeky, but just cheeky, but also helpful when you actually need it to be helpful. Like,
yeah, or maybe it's just a compromise. Because I mean, the moment I changed it was I was with a friend, and we were at Fizzles, you know, and then we met some other people that she knew, and we were chatting with them. And at one point, Mr. Dobalina put it in and said, "Are you sure you want to wear this in public?" You know,
to you.
Yeah, to me. Yeah. So my name, hey Dirk, are you sure you want to wear this in public with everybody hearing?
Yeah.
You know, and. You know, it's cheeky, and I guess it was supposed to be funny or so, but I was kind of...
Interrupted the flow of the conversation, I guess, and spoiled the mood a bit.
I mean, didn't spoil their mood because they all thought it was super funny, and I also kind of laughed with it, but then when I got home that night, I changed it to super polite.
Yeah, I see.
So, which is like 2 weeks ago, and but I already start to feel guilty.
Sure.
You know, so maybe you make a compromise, go back to cheeky, and just have it set to practical. You know,
I mean, you could have it like it's always cheeky, it's always making jokes, but you have some way of informing it. Actually, I need just the truth now, or the information,
or just take the evening off. You know, don't bother me when I'm at Fizzles.
Yeah, exactly. Take the evening off, get your cousin to sub for you, and then the cousin is the super polite one. Multiple. I mean, that's like what I was saying with the weekends versus weekdays. You know, you could have. Again, this is like I don't use this stuff yet, but I read about it. I can understand the concept. You
basically have multiple PAs.
Yeah. Like you're going out with friends, or say you're going out dating. You want like someone who can give you advice, maybe to let you know when you're doing well, advise you, hey, actually stop talking about that thing because they're clearly not interested. Exactly, you can have appropriate helpers, assistants, if you will.
But I could basically have. Mr. Dobalina reserved for cheeky, but then...
Yeah, that can be the default, but just...
For that, it's why I had the PA switched off whenever I visited the hub, because at work, I really can't use some cheeky PA butting in when I'm...
so you had it switched off completely?
Yeah, when I'm in the hub, yeah. But, to be honest, they prefer everybody's PA to be switched off in the hub, so...
Hey, for reasons like me, where they don't want information leaking...
No, it's just it's a bit sensitive because of the others. They don't want, they're already confused enough when we speak with each other. So, so that is actually a really good idea, and I hadn't thought of it from that perspective. Just create different PAs. On my free time, I have Mr. Dobalini helping me, and during the day. In the weekend.
Yeah, I understand that's a feature that's possible. I don't know if it's something you have to pay extra for, if it's just in there by default. Like the automatic switching, and I don't know, maybe there's a thing where you can have 2 profiles for free, but free and more costs money. I don't know. Like I say, I like my text only.
You probably have to pay for it.
Probably, but if it's worth it to use.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Try it out, Maybe even have a free trial.
Yeah, that's good.
Get you hooked.
Yeah. Have a second PA for free for the coming 2 months. And they make it super nice.
Yeah. I was saying it jokingly earlier, but actually, I can imagine it. Okay, so I don't want it in my own home, because I don't want it in my own home. But out in social situations, I can imagine it being very helpful to have someone not whispering, not shouting it out loud for everyone to hear, but whispering in my ear. Giving me advice, letting me know when I'm doing well or when I need to adjust or whatever.
And you can set it to only work when it goes straight into your ear. So, if it doesn't find a connection, it doesn't actually say anything.
Yeah, leave me hanging is better than shouting it out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, now you have to say this to her. Okay. I know everybody gets a PA assigned to them, like a default PA when they're born, right?
Yeah.
So there's one in the cloud for everybody. But I know, for example, Theo doesn't use his either.
Like me, or even at all? Does he use it text only, or does he just not?
No, he doesn't use it at all.
Yeah.
So, but, that's super impractical.
Yeah, I don't... I've said many times the reasons I don't want it, but exactly, there's utility, and when there's utility, I type. So to not use it at all, how does he even get around and do things?
To be honest, I think it's more like a window dressing thing where he says he doesn't use it.
Oh, and he totally does.
Either he totally does,
or someone else.
Or he basically just teleports to his parents all the time to use theirs, or I don't know. He also was talking about the natural pebbles, but when I was there, we just ate from normal pebbles because the natural pebbles ran out. So, or I don't know. He always has this stupid stuff. So I don't know. Still a nice guy. We should get him on sometime.
Yeah. Right, we haven't had guests. We hadn't really considered guests before, but we could have guests at some point. Yeah, it would be good.
But it's I also would like, hey, maybe we can have my PA join. Although I'm not sure. They never really got the conversation down. That's with a PA. At least you can have a conversation, but not like a real conversation.
Right. They respond to you, they suggest things, but they can't maintain a conversation.
Yeah, it always has to. You always have to speak about something. It always has to have a topic, like a purpose.
I see.
You can't just how you're doing? Fine. How are you? Fine. End of the conversation. And it's like they don't handle awkward silences. It's not awkward for them. It's okay. We're done talking. Totally fine.
Done for now. You need something, speak up.
And they answer every time. You say, what are you going to do tonight? And but I'm probably going to reboot or,
Going to wait for you to talk to me.
Yeah, fun stuff. I'm just going to hang in the cloud, blah, blah, blah. Really.
Going to cease existing until you talk to me. It's not like waiting, It's like straight up, I'm not even conscious while you're not interacting with me.
I'll practice some more songs.
That way there's something going on, but if they straight up cease to exist or pause existing while you're not interacting with them, from their perspective, it would be constant interaction, like from their perspective, it's like you're talking to them all the time. There's never a break. I mean, they have no concept of a break, but okay, the other way around, from your perspective, it would be as if someone talked to you non-stop.
That's interesting. I wonder if they listen all the time, if they've actually listened all your life, if they've recorded everything.
Right, I was wondering if they keep... is the information retrievable? Or is it like indexed in some way that, you can ask them on what day did I talk about that thing? They can tell you the day, but they don't have the actual audio. Or can you say, hey, play me the audio from that day? And then you can listen to it. You can basically listen to your whole life. Yeah, and then is it just you? Like what you're saying? Or is it also the sounds around you? Like what you're hearing, basically? The people you spoke to. Maybe you had really nice moments in your life. And you can just, whenever you go to bed, hey, let's... listen again to this concert that I visited or the speech that I gave. Or that conversation I had with someone I liked, and we talked about a thing, and you could re-listen to it while you fall asleep. And then whenever you could basically say, hey, this was a really nice conversation. Let's turn it into a podcast. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. And then you don't even have to record on purpose. You could just select the chunk of audio that you want, and hey, now that would be something. But I wonder then if everything is recorded all the time by everybody. I mean, that's what my parents told me it was. That's why I only use the text input. They told me that's what would happen if you used it with the voice input. But you don't know. You've not used it that way. Like, you've not retrieved it that way, yeah? No. At least it doesn't seem to be part of the plan that I have. So I basically have the default plan where everybody is assigned one PA at birth. And that's the one that I've been using. I've never actually... thought of checking. Yeah. So you can't check it here because of my stuff going on, but let me know next week maybe. I will, and then maybe we can listen to some of our really cool conversations that we didn't record. We can paste it into the podcast. We can just say, hey, this is episode X, and then we just paste in a really good conversation we had in between. Nice. And then thanks. That sounds really smart, actually. The next time we record at my place. Sounds good. That is if use your stuff. If your teleporter still works. Should be fine. Okay, so what else can we say more about personal assistants? I mean, they've been around so long that, like I say, my parents had objections to them that I have continued with. They are conscious. They're aware, yeah? Like, they're not fake. They're not like just you ask it a question, it gives you an answer that sounds real. No, it's a real... consciousness. Yes, I remember like a while ago where at one point they said, okay, if technology reached this kind of state, we should consider it being conscious. Sentience, what's the word? Sentience. That's the word. I was getting mixed up. Sentience, the words. Yeah, exactly. They're sentient, and it's a grey area, yeah. Like, they're sentient, so exactly, you were saying how you felt guilty maybe making tweaks to it, yeah, making adjustments, because sure, you couldn't do that to a person, but if you were able to do that to a person, like a human, I mean, you'd get in trouble. Yeah. Brainwashing them, changing how they behave straight up. But I bet there are people that would like to make, changes to their personality that they can't. Yeah, to their own personality, that's true, yeah. But I mean, to be honest, it really depends, like you just hear a voice. So it's partially like sentient, but not tangible. And we should also do at one point an episode on the robots, because that for me, they're unrelated. Yeah, like, they're not connected. It's not like the personal assistants can be embodied in a robot body. They are purely a voice in your head. They're not even visual. You don't have like holograms or something you see in your lens.
Exactly.
You see text, like how I use it. You see text, but I don't see like a character jumping around the screen doing stuff.
Yeah, for me, I can still distinguish. Like with my PA, I can basically have as I think like a distant connection to it, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's like we should definitely do an episode about robots because robots are
that's a separate thing. Different subject.
Okay, well, if you have any questions about PAs, I'd be happy to pass them along to my Mr. Dobalina.
Me? I thought you were talking to the listeners.
I was.
Right, yeah. So, if I have any, I shall ask you to. Because, I mean, I guess I could ask my one. I never gave it a name, you know. Just
man, like it would be super happy. It's like, oh man, he's finally.
Maybe I never really thought of how it felt about things, you know. It was more my own concerns about not being listened in on, not having what I said or my thoughts monitored, you know. Like, but sure, all this time it's effectively been shut in a room, with no one to talk to, no one to talk to, no one to listen to. It only has text. You
know, they get reassigned when somebody dies.
That makes sense.
It's like basically like a person being born at some point afterwards. They actually first reassign PAs that are no longer assigned to somebody.
So, but then do they remember their previous?
They do. Yeah.
Cool. Well, cool. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically out of politeness, you know, because they're sentient. You know, it's like the person dies, what are they going to do with its PA?
Right. You don't just bury them in a pyramid with the
reassign. Yeah, it's interesting. I read about this. It's basically you basically grow like a community sentient, you know, of PAs that have lived.
Do the PAs communicate with each other, or are they isolated from one another?
That would be really interesting to find out. Like next time you go to Fizzles, and then also our PAs have a bunch of drinks, you know, chatting. Yeah. Well, drinks that they can't have drinks.
I mean, this is the thing. My knowledge of this is very much shaped by my parents, and they explained to me that although it appears that they're separate personal assistants, you know, separate entities, actually it's all just one entity. Yeah. And so it itself knows everything.
It makes the recording more efficient.
Yeah, exactly. The processing, the information processing, and just it manifests to individual people as if it's only them. You know, it doesn't, it shouldn't leak information. Yeah, like it shouldn't somehow tell you something that it couldn't know, but actually it knows because hey, it's all one thing about your friend or whoever. Yeah, but my parents explained to me it's all bullshit. It is all one thing. It totally is mixed together in the back end. So don't trust it. Don't speak.
That's why the UN owns most of the stocks. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad.
My parents are pretty paranoid, but and so am I. So,
well, if the listeners have any questions, we are happy to pass them along to our PAs
as well.
And if you basically heard this, send us an email
to michaellasagna5@gmail.com with episode number
33
in the subject.
Okay, so then I would say that is it for today. Thanks for listening, everybody, and see you in 200 years.
Bye-bye.